How do you know when a snake plant needs water? One of the most important things to learn when caring for a snake plant is knowing when to water. Snake plants are often described as low-maintenance plants because they can tolerate dry conditions. But that doesn't mean they never need water. Water too little for too long, and the leaves can become wrinkled, soft, or curled. Water too often, and the roots can become damaged by constantly wet soil. So, how do you know when your snake plant actually needs water? In this video, we'll look at the most reliable signs to check before watering and how to avoid one of the most common snake plant care mistakes. Let's get started. Number 1. Check the soil first. The easiest and most reliable way to know when to water your snake plant is to check the soil. Don't water simply because it's been 7 days or 2 weeks. The soil can dry at different speeds depending on the pot size, soil mix, light, temperature, and season. Push your finger a few inches into the soil. If the soil is still noticeably moist, wait. If the upper and middle layers have dried out, it's usually time to check the plant more closely. For a larger pot, you may need to use a wooden stick or moisture meter to check deeper into the soil. The goal is not to keep the soil slightly wet all the time. Snake plants prefer a cycle of thorough watering followed by a period of drying. Number 2. The leaves may start to wrinkle. Another sign that your snake plant may be getting too dry is wrinkled leaves. Healthy snake plant leaves are usually thick and firm. When the plant loses too much moisture, the leaves can become thinner and develop visible wrinkles. They may also start to curl slightly inward. If you notice wrinkled leaves together with very dry soil, underwatering is a likely cause. However, don't rely on the leaves alone. Wrinkled leaves can also occur when the roots are damaged and unable to absorb water. That's why it's important to check the soil and the overall condition of the plant before watering. Number 3. The leaves feel less firm. Healthy snake plant leaves should feel firm and sturdy. When the plant becomes dehydrated, the leaves may gradually lose some of their firmness. They may feel softer or more flexible than usual. If the soil is completely dry and the leaves feel thinner and less firm, your plant may be asking for water. But if the leaves are soft and mushy while the soil is still wet, that's a different situation. Soft, mushy leaves combined with wet soil can indicate overwatering or root problems. So always consider the soil and leaf texture together. Number 4. The soil may pull away from the pot. When potting soil becomes extremely dry, it can shrink and pull away from the sides of the container. You may notice a small gap between the soil and the edge of the pot. This is a strong indication that the soil has become very dry. At this point, your snake plant is likely ready for a thorough watering. Water slowly and evenly so the dry soil has a chance to absorb the moisture. If water immediately runs down the sides and out of the drainage holes, the soil may have become very dry and difficult to rehydrate. In that case, watering slowly in stages can help. Number 5. Check the weight of the pot. Another simple method is to learn how heavy your pot feels after watering. A pot filled with moist soil will usually feel heavier. As the soil dries, the container becomes noticeably lighter. After a few watering cycles, you'll start to recognize the difference. This can be especially useful for snake plants in larger containers, where checking the soil with your finger isn't always easy. Lift the pot carefully before and after watering and learn how it feels at different moisture levels. Over time, this can become a very convenient way to judge when watering is needed. Number 6. Look at the growing conditions. Your snake plant may need water faster or slower depending on its environment. A plant in bright light may use water more quickly than one sitting in a dark corner. Warm temperatures can also increase water use. During periods of active growth, the plant may need water more frequently than during cooler, slower growing periods. Pot size also matters. A small pot can dry much faster than a large container. So instead of following a fixed watering calendar, pay attention to the plant and its soil. Number 7. Don't wait for severe symptoms. You don't need to wait until the leaves are extremely wrinkled or collapsing before watering. Those are signs that the plant has already been under significant water stress. Ideally, check the soil before the plant reaches that stage. If the soil has dried properly and the plant is otherwise healthy, that's usually the right time to water. The goal is to avoid both extremes, constant wet soil and severe dehydration. How to water your snake plant properly. Once you've determined that your snake plant needs water, water it thoroughly. Pour water slowly over the soil until you see some water draining from the bottom of the pot. This helps moisten the entire root area instead of only the surface. Then allow the excess water to drain completely. Don't leave the pot sitting in water. After watering, wait again until the soil dries properly before watering the plant another time. This simple cycle is much safer than giving the plant a small amount of water every few days. What if the soil is dry but the leaves are still soft? This can be confusing. If the soil is dry but the leaves remain soft, the plant may have another problem. For example, damaged roots may prevent the plant from absorbing water properly. In this situation, simply watering more frequently won't solve the problem. Check the roots if the symptoms continue. Healthy roots should be firm. If the roots are dark, soft, and mushy, root rot may be involved. This is why checking the soil alone isn't always enough. Look at the whole plant. Final thoughts. So, how do you know when your snake plant needs water? Start with the soil. Make sure it is dried properly before watering again. Then check the leaves for signs of dehydration, such as wrinkles, curling, or reduced firmness. You can also pay attention to the weight of the pot and the plant's growing conditions. Most importantly, don't follow a rigid watering schedule. Your snake plant may need water sooner or later, depending on its light, temperature, pot size, soil, and season. The goal is simple. Let the soil dry, then water thoroughly. Once you learn to recognize these signs, watering your snake plant becomes much easier. And by avoiding both constant moisture and severe dehydration, you can help keep the roots healthy and the leaves strong. Thank you for watching Plants Every Day. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more simple indoor plant care tips. Be sure to explore our snake plant watering and root care playlist for more easy guides on watering your snake plant, preventing root problems, and keeping the roots healthy. See you in the next video. Happy growing!